To the floor. Once again, coming at you from the floor. This is going to be my Hallmark Channel review. Why? Because I need to share. I have opinions, and I need to share them. I tried to make this last night, but it was midnight, and I was saying really quietly, and I have a lot of passion. When I watch these movies, they invoke a lot of passion. And so I was trying to whisper in the basement, and then I just kept talking, and it sounded really weird, and I felt very embarrassed. And so I said, you know what? I can't even follow my own thoughts watching this. So instead, I'm just going to make it tomorrow. Midnight talking sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Either way, I watched the movie The Wish Swap. I got my little notebook here. I had to take notes. I took notes because it's important. Because also, I forget a lot because there's a lot of plots that I'm like, this reminds me of another movie. I gotta be able to remember the notes. Also, people's names. I typically, when I watch the movies, I can't tell you what their names were. I'm like, these characters got mentioned, their names got mentioned twice, and now I forgot. Anyways, this is The Wish Swap. It was adorable. I was very emotionally moved by this. It was a very cute, very fun, very, very adorable. I had a couple laughs. It was all good. Okay, gonna tell you the little plot overview. You got these two folks. You got a little farmer countryman. You got this big, tough businesswoman. Actually, she was tiny, but it doesn't matter. She's a fiery little redhead, and I love her for it. Okay, I don't know if I don't think it's natural redhead, but if it is, good for you. Anyways, it's their birthdays. They both go to the restaurant. They meet at the restaurant. They look at each other at the restaurant, and they go, "Oh, I think you're cute." But then they have this like extended eye contact, which I love a good eye contact. Eye contact. I love the connection. The chemistry was on. Okay. Just call me NaCl because there was some chemistry going on. Anyways, it's the birthdays. She's with her coworkers. He's with his family. They have this awkward, and it's their birthday. They're birthday twins, even better. They go over there. They sit at the little tables. They're like, "Oh, there you are." She's like, "Oh, wow, you're also here? That's so cute." And he's like, "Whoa, you're also here?" Oh. And then they have a little eye contact, and they keep having these interactions of like, she gets the gift, he gets the gift at the same time. They're looking at each other. They're looking at each other. They start talking, even though their friends are all talking silently because that's how movies work. And they're going, watermelon, watermelon, watermelon to each other and turning to each other. The main people are in love and they're connecting. And they're like, "Wow, I think you're hot. I think you're cute." And they're doing this little flirty banter and I dig it. And then they have this moment where where he doesn't get a birthday cake and she gets a birthday cake. And she's like, "I think you're hot, so I'm going to share my birthday cake with you because it's our birthdays." And he's like, "Okay." And then somebody is like, "Make sure you have a wish, keep your eyes closed," and this is where the wish swap happens. Here's the title of the movie, this is when it happens. They're at this cake and they do a little blow and they're like, "Oh," and then all of a sudden, the room starts spinning and they're like, it's in slow motion, they're like, "Oh, whoa, whoa," and then all of a sudden, they're wishing, he gets a call and he goes, "Hello, who is this?" And the guy's like, "You're gonna be on a TV show, on a dancing competition show." And she's like, "What? I love that show." And he's like, "I've never seen TV." And she's like, "What? You've never seen TV? What about reality TV?" And he's like, "No, I'm a farmer. I don't do that." And she's like, "Whoa!" And so they're like, "Oh, what do I do?" Also, the fact that she gave him her number real quick, and she was like, "Text me if you want." Boom. That's some boss energy right there. Okay, and then that happens, and then we're like, "What's going to go on?" And so they part ways, and then all of a sudden she gets a call. She gets a call in the morning. Turns out this girl be lonely. She talks about the fact that she don't got no family, which is super sad. That's like a real sad thing to tell people. Also just really sad to go through. I'm sorry if you don't have family. But I hope you have great support and friends. Or a lovely romance that will blossom accordingly. So this secret aunt, there's like lawyers like, "Come in, lady. Well, you have a secret. And you have a secret aunt who left you a farm. Remember the guy's a farmer?" This lady the secret aunt left her the estate, and she's like, I don't know how to farmer, but I do know a handsome little farmer over there. And so she's like, will you please? And they try to make a wish, and they're like, it doesn't work. And so she's like, will you help me be a farmer? And you can have this little estate, and you can work it, and you can achieve your dreams. And it was my wish was to be on that show, and I'm guessing your wish was to be a farmer. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it, even though I don't want to be on a TV show dancing. Like, it's embarrassing. Dancing isn't embarrassing, it's an emotional passion. Sorry, that was a lot. Dancing's fun. You just wiggle. You know what I mean? Why is he embarrassed? You're just gonna wiggle. Okay? And then they go, and so they have these little moments, right? He teaches her how to be a farmer. They have little moments being like, oh, this is how you milk a cow. And then they touch while they're milking the udders, which is a wild romantic turn. But there's been other movies that have done weirder things. So I think milking a cow might be slightly more tame, but it's also a little silly. It's a little silly. And then she gets attacked by goats, and she's like, save me! And he's like, oh. And then there's also the friend, her his cousin or sister or whoever there, and then the other guy, and they're like, there's this other romance. They get chased out in the rain, and they're slow dancing, and they skip, and they're like, oh, we're in love, and we're young, and we're fun, and we're silly, and oh, and that one's adorable. But then we have a little cameo. Okay, I don't know how many Hallmark movies you've watched. I don't know what Hallmark series you watched, but on Hallmark Channel, we support Miss Pascal Hutton. I didn't know she was going to be in this movie, but I love her. If I have to choose my Hallmark crush, it's going to be Miss Pascal Hutton. Oh my gosh, I just messed up her last name. Betrayal. She was a little dancing instructor. First off, it was showing her acting abilities. I love her when she's Rosemary and When Calls the Heart. Okay, she's over the top, flamboyant, dramatic. She's the comedic relief, and I love it. And then this one, she got to be the tough little dance lady who's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, be better. She wasn't like this angry Russian ballet dancer. She was like a regular angry dancer lady. A regular choreographer who's about business. And I appreciated it. Just her presence. But it was wild to listen to her talk in this monotone and be like, I'm gonna go. And it was at this low, it wasn't quite that low, but it was pretty close to I'm gonna go. You guys need to dance. That's basically what she was doing. That's the sound that she was making. Anyway, I love her. She's fantastic. So I'm so glad. Also, the 2-man people, love them too. That one girl, the main girl, she was in one movie. I did not enjoy it. Some people really loved it. I was very confused at why she had to do a British accent. I get that she was from London, but it was just kind of wild that she, in what was it called? The holiday hotline. Was the holiday hotline or whatever, where she's Thanksgiving and she's like, I need you to take care of it. It's absolutely time for you to do it. And I was like, this is not a British lady, but also, I did enjoy that movie despite the fake British accent. Just saying. I'm sorry. I'm being a hater. I wasn't engulfed in the love. Sometimes, but I eventually really liked that movie. It was just wild when I was like, is this lady even British? I don't know. But then he was also in the show Ride, and I was like, this man, he be showing up. He's appearing all over the place. He was also in what was it? The Christmas Letter? Was that the movie he was in this past Christmas? He was kind of in the movie. I think he was in another one too. I think he was in 2. It was kind of weird. Sometimes people, if you're the friend or a family member, sometimes you can just you can just sneak in a whole bunch of movies. I do remember one guy who was in 3 movies, and he was Italian, and they all were chefs. Every single movie involved chefs, and he was in all 3 of them, and they were in a row, and I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, back to this film. I love these people dancing. They do little dances. They are bonding. They have a romance. They are watching this little, I don't know what state they're in, but they're sitting on this little farm and looking at all this green. It was super green. And the clouds, It was all cloudy and it was all lovely. And they were sitting on the back of a truck and they were bonding. And then they did a little slow dance in the truck bed. What? Adorable. What else happened in this movie? The main guy used the term bamboozled. That's important. He used the term bamboozled. I don't hear that a lot, but I appreciate it because I'll be using the term bamboozled on a regular basis, and I don't think it gets the amount of credit it deserves. Sorry, I'm yelling. She talked to the chickens. That was adorable. And he thought it was adorable. Then there's the moment with the family where she's like, I ain't got no family, which is real sad to say. I'm really sorry again to this young woman. But then the mom of the guy, lovely little lady, she goes, well, you can be a part of ours. Ah! Ah! Hits me in the heart. She becomes a part of the family. And then there's the whole thing about the lasso, which was very random. But also, homage to the fact that he was in the show Ride. And I guess he can lasso. That's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. What else happens in this movie? He says he wants to call they come up with all these puns, and the first one for the farm, what they're gonna call it, right? Because she wants something like, I think they end up calling it like Misty Meadows, Peaceful Meadow, something very cute, something very adorable. But his first idea, which I loved, was called Utter Delight. Because there's cows. It's funny. I found it very silly. But anyways, there's this whole thing. And they're competing on this dance show. And they're falling in love. Also, they get to wear little costumes on this little dance show. And they get to do the little dance routines. How fun is that? It's all cute. They do a little swing dance. They gotta be like, and they gotta do the waltz and be like, and then they did the tango and it was like, wah, leg. Oh, my leg doesn't bend that far. I got bad hips. Anyways, what else? Oh, and then here's the kicker. They also did like a weird stand-up routine. Anyways, because she made like 3 wishes and he only made 1, but her 3 wishes. Anyways, that's not important. What's important is they did a really weird stand-up show. And the friends were there supporting. Okay? And this takes us to the most important moment of this movie. Okay? He looks at those wish lists. Okay? After they have a cute romantic moment on the porch. After they have an adorable time and he's like, I'm falling in love with this girl. He goes in there. He goes into that. He brings her in her little arms. In his big arms, he goes, I'm going to lay you on the couch and I'm going to tuck you in. And then he writes her a little romantic note. But then he looks at her. He looks at the computer with her wish list. Which I knew was coming. I also appreciate that the problem didn't last that long. Also, when she confronts him, very dramatic. It's at dance rehearsal. It's on a stage. It's in front of everybody, and Pascal Hutton's like, ooh, gotta go. Which I appreciate that. But then she has to leave. She storms in, then she storms out and is like, I don't trust you. Oh! And then they're all crying about it because he shouldn't have been invading her privacy. And the sister tells him that. She's like, you being bad. And then the new boyfriend's like, I agree. And I'm like, that's right. You stick with your woman. And then he's like, I know I did bad. How can I possibly go back? And she's like, stop being weak. Stop being lame. You gotta go. So he goes to her office with the low thing. And meanwhile, the lady's angrily fake typing and is like, Casey is all like, and Henry's like, and there's all this stuff happening. But then Mr. Henry walks in and is like, I'm sorry. She's in the middle of a meeting. Girl's in the middle of a meeting. And he's like, no. I love you. I'm real sorry. I shouldn't have looked at that. But I do love you. And she's like, okay. And then they do the little tango dance and they fall in love. But then I gotta applaud my favorite type of character. I haven't even mentioned her. The horny friend. Okay. She wasn't horny this time. I don't know what better title. She's the side friend, right? She's the side character. She's the friend who's assisting the protagonist. Anyways, this girl, she was there every moment. She's the one who had the birthday party, and it was kind of a fool. It was like, are they even close? We don't know at the beginning, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, they are best friends. And she was like, you got to tell me about this man. And the whole time, the friend is like, you love this man, and because this man is into you. And she had all these she had some funny lines. I could tell she was going for it. She was like, I'm gonna take my shot, and I applaud her for that. And then at the very end, after Henry storms into the little meeting, because they're in the middle of a meeting, and then Henry and Casey do their little skip. They skip. And they literally skip and then twirl out of the meeting, which is adorable. Realistic? Questionable. But is it adorable? 100%. And then, my boss lady, the best friend, goes, all right, I'm going to take control of this meeting. She goes, it's my time, guys. Who's in favor of doing what my best friend says? What my girl said. She's like, you gonna raise your hand. And they do. And she's like, okay, now let's watch my friend dance. And she starts eating her popcorn, and she's into it. She's like, woo, 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 woo. I'm here for the friend. She was carrying this movie. And she was also like, she said that she was Switzerland. I was like, this woman, she's doing a lot. I use that phrase too. They use my phrase, being like, I'm going to be like Switzerland. I'm not going to get involved. And then talking about being bamboozled. And then they have their kit. And then everything goes well. They win their little dance competition. Then they get there. They do a little dance. Then they get their little smooch. The little smooch on a truck. Y'all. I love a smooch on a truck. That's what we're here for. Okay, it was cute. Was it the most? It was fun. It was fun that it was like, you had magic. You had a little wish, little magic diced in there. Not too much, but just a little bit. You had some farming. You had some big city living. You had some cute moments. I'll give it 4 out of 5 goats. 4 out of 5 goats. Solid movie. I felt invested. A lot of times, sometimes you get hit or miss. It's like you gotta tether. But it was a solid program. Well done. And that's what I have to say about this movie. So it was just silly. Just cute and silly. So hope you have a lovely day. That was my phrasing for the day. And I'm gonna have to watch a new one probably tonight because I missed another one. I've been slacking. So have fun.